Well, good morning, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola, and this morning we are doing a small test on a new show called The Brady Bunch. Little joke for you. But every time we do 4 people or more, I always think it's a little Brady-esque, you know? Yeah.
Very much so. I don't want to be Alice, though.
That lady didn't get enough credit, man.
That's true.
That's a serious gig right there, you know?
I'll be Jan. Jan was always Stacy.
Marsha.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to be Marsha.
I think they should have had at least 3 people on staff to take care of that home.
Yeah, at least.
You know? There's like 29 of those kids running around.
Exactly.
So how are all you ladies doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Doing great.
Cool. This should be fun, and we'll see if we can bring some order to the fun.
It's like we're off to a great start, aren't we?
Tough crowd here. Tough crowd.
Yeah, you know, if whoever joins in is just going to have to be very, very filled with grace this morning.
That's right.
Likely. Hey, so we're starting out. We'll go ahead and make it official, all right?
Okay, sounds good.
So before we kind of lunge into the meat of the content here this morning, certainly want to introduce who I'm with. And so across from me, you have Sue Ring. She is Leadership Osceola's program director. And then, as I said, in a Brady-esque mosaic, we have Kathy Pierson, president of Kathy Pierson Communications. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great.
And then, of course, last but absolutely not least, Belinda Johnson-Cornett, CEO of Osceola Community Health Services.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, you know, we'll just get right at it. I really wanted to have a discussion with you guys because there's some congratulations that is certainly in order. And then, as we said before we went live, I wanted to try to just bring a little bit more content or community awareness to what the Kissimmee Chamber's doing, Osceola County Chamber's doing in the way of leadership Osceola, and that's so we're really thankful that Sue, you could join us this morning. So I'll kind of go right into it, and then I'm gonna hopefully be quiet and let you guys talk. We'll talk about your organizations, and just let you just kind of go at it for that. So last week, as we said, the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce celebrated some very special people during their Leadership Osceola Champions Jubilee event, and that is when you honored members who graduated in the 2021 Leadership Osceola class. Am I right? It was 33?
33, correct. One of our largest classes ever. So
that's
it was exciting.
Deal. It's a big deal.
It is.
So I'll say the mission, and then I'm going to probably be quiet. The mission of Leadership Osceola is to prepare, inspire, and support leadership for the improved future of our community. So that's a handful. But I mean that in a really complimentary way. I think sometimes this is really why I was hoping to be able to speak to you ladies, because this is a humongous county.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't just spin, and it doesn't just spin in the correct directions. You know, that's not how things work. And so much happens that people don't, you know, no matter how aware you can be, you just never can kind of get all of what's going on in the internal portions of the county. So it's a big deal. So I know it took place at Disney's Coronado Spring Resort, correct?
Correct. Yep. They've been our host of graduation for 30 years. So we're fortunate to have that partnership with them to make the event that much more special. That's
awesome. And I think, and so KUA was the presenting sponsor?
Correct.
So I'm going to stop talking. We're gonna get into what the awards were that you both ladies won. But why don't you give us a little, Sue, if you'd lead us off and tell us a little bit about what Leadership Osceola is and does, please.
Sure. Leadership Osceola was actually created, at the Kissimmee Chamber about 33 years ago, designed to make sure that we always were prepping and engaging individuals to be leaders, to make good decisions for our community, for not only that impact the time today, but for generations to come. And so each year, about from January through June, we have 30 to 35 individuals that go through this community immersion process where not only do they get connected to kind of this sphere of influencers of the 30 to 35 folks within their class, but then they go on these community explorations that explore a community topic every other week. So it could be criminal justice, government services, education, environment, economic development. And it's led by these industry experts, which isn't me, to kind of showcase what's going on in the community. So in the hopes that these representatives from our business community, from the nonprofit community, minority business owners, engaged citizens, government workers, whomever that is, because leaders come in all shapes and sizes, that they can really understand what Osceola is doing well, but recognize that we have challenges and identify those opportunities. And so at the end of the program, they're so well immersed in what's going on in the community that they can make informed decisions, whether it's as individuals or as businesses or as elected officials or a combination of all of the above. They can make those informed decisions and really be plugged into our community, and really it emphasizes civic engagement. And so and we talk about how it culminates with this graduation experience last Friday. And the two ladies that are joining us they're kind of the epitomes of our servant leadership methodology, or thinking that we've engaged these individuals and now they are giving back, and we want to recognize those individuals that are giving back to our community, learning and using the relationships and the knowledge that they gained from Leadership Osceola, whether they went through the program. No offense, Kathy, I think you were 1996? Yes. A few years ago, yes, whereas correct. Belinda's a 2009 graduate, but somewhere in that leadership journey helped prepare them to be leaders in our community today. And so we sent out, Belinda is our distinguished leader, an award that we've given out since 1992. And Kathy is that now that we're back at the chamber, we have a small business champion to kind of recognize that leader within our business community. And so those awards, we accepted nominations from throughout the community. We gathered those in. We had distinguished panels that it wasn't me that made the decision. It wasn't the Kissimmee Chamber staff that made the decision. We had previous distinguished leaders and small business champions decide amongst the peers who these representatives would be. And so we made those announcements last Friday, and we couldn't be more proud or think of individuals more. We had esteemed candidates. I'm not trying to slight your competitors. It was a really tough decision because, we have phenomenal leadership that's throughout Osceola County, but we could only, there can only be one winner of each category. And so those two are joining us this morning.
That's awesome. One thing that hit me, when I was looking at some of the members of this particular class, it kind of hit me that Leadership Osceola is kind of a silo buster also. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, I think Tiffany Henderson was from was there.
Correct.
And
Correct.
Emma Batchelder from City of St. Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So they've come to the area within the last year, and now they're steeped in everything that you shared with them. And
absolutely,
I think that keeps it from being, Mary Emma over in St. Cloud and, Tiffany and Kate in Kissimmee. I think now all that merges, and I think that's a big win.
It crosses boundaries, and especially for those who you gave examples of those who are relatively newish to our community, but then it's not there are folks that have been born and raised here for generations, and they learn just as much as somebody who just moved here or became involved in this community a year ago. And that's what's so great about Leadership Osceola, is that it creates these relationships that cross the business spectrum, the geographic spectrum of our community. And so because we're all connected, it just makes the decisions that are going to be made today and tomorrow that much stronger based on the relationships that are created within that community.
That's awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about the awards. So and you mentioned that there were some other finalists that were
Absolutely.
awesome. So we'll start with that. So for the 2021 Distinguished Leader Award, those other finalists were Osceola County Tax Collector Bruce Vickers and CEO of Reach, Kelly Trace.
Correct.
Which is all 18 feet away from where I usually work. Love those guys. And so let's I'll go on into the other award as well, Kathy, which was the winner. The 2021 Small Business Champion, and the finalists were, of course, Kathy, and then Lavelle Monger, partner with RTW Photography, great guy, and Gladys Thayer, also a realtor with Remax Premier Properties. So some great folks to find yourself with the award in your hand. That's a big thing, and I'm assuming that the ones we don't even have their names, it's a larger list of those.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's start out with Belinda. So Belinda, she is, as I said, the CEO of Osceola County Health Service, and then the winner of the Distinguished Leader Award. So Belinda, why don't you tell us a little bit about the organization that you are CEO in or over, and just kind of give us some more information for those people who don't know, please.
So I am the CEO of Osceola Community Health Services, and we provide health services throughout the community for those who are insured, uninsured, underinsured. So our goal and our mission is to make sure that we provide care to those who are in need. And so we don't just look at that individual person as far as that visit. We look at all of those social determinants of health, those things that also impact their health outcomes, whether it's food, housing. We connect them to people and services that we may not have. And we provide care for all ages, from newborn to older adult. Primary care, as I mentioned, which includes pediatrics, and we also have maternity. We have behavioral health with the psychiatrist, psychologist, nurse case manager. We also have dental services. We've recently opened up a pharmacy on site at Stadium Place, at our Stadium Place site here in Kissimmee. And we're trying to make sure that it's a one-stop shop so that there are no barriers to care. We know that transportation is an issue here in the county, so we just try to make sure that we expand our services as much as possible to meet as many needs as possible. We're also expanding and opening up a more full service laboratory on site so that patients can get their labs drawn when they're here with us. And just making sure that we get those patients, like our diabetic patients, into like some case management to make sure that we're meeting all their needs to really help improve their outcomes.
So if I'm correct, you have 2 locations currently, right?
No, we have 10 locations.
Well
and so we're spread throughout Osceola County, and our larger sites are our Ponciana site, our Stadium Place site, which is on Bill Beck, Fortune Road. We have a site in Dover on Grape Ave in St. Cloud. Yeah. And then we have some sites where we partner with housing, like in Cameron Preserves is a affordable housing complex, and we have a site there, and we also have backlot apartments at Four Corners. So we partner with people as well to make sure we're reaching all the population.
I think that's a big deal. Again, referring back to the opening, the county is I think people just don't understand sometimes how large this county is, even geographically, growing rapidly. So your organization's job could be called challenging, even during a time it wouldn't be what we're now experiencing. So the pandemic, that must have made things a bit more complicated. Or did that drive change and evolving quicker for your organization? Did it really change how you bring healthcare to people?
It did. It changed in a lot of ways. So it was challenging for sure. But it did make us really look at our processes. And there are some things that we've changed that we will continue to do just because it made it better. Right. And so, for example, we started telehealth, and we had that long strategic plan that we would do telehealth within the next year. Well, it ended up being within like 2 weeks. And so it was and people really appreciated that because they had concerns about coming into a building, and we had concerns about people not getting their health care. So it really helped a lot. we put other processes in place so we didn't have crowded lobbies, and we put electronic options in place for people to register so they could come in and sit in their car until we called them for their visit. All of those things that decrease the contact, increase patients' sense of security about their safety when they came into this, these into the COVID environment, and making sure that they felt comfortable. So we did do some innovative things that we had not planned to do, or some that we had planned to do, but later down the line, and it did force us to make some changes, and they've been really good changes.
We speak to a lot of organizations, and we really do hear, almost everybody says it was a 2-week transition. It's school district, same thing. Mm-hmm. Easter break turns into 2 weeks, turns into a hybrid teaching environment. But there is a net gain in so many of these things that we amped up the timeline, and I think meetings now occurring so much more electronically. It becomes more efficient.
Yes.
Becomes safer, maybe. Yes. Even without a pandemic, perhaps we're going to see some of these systems stay in place for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations on your award. I was thrilled.
Thank you.
You won. You certainly are very deserved. I know everybody sitting around here today is extraordinarily humble. So I know you wouldn't be out there touting yourself. So we really want to do that for you for sure. So congratulations to you for sure.
Appreciate that.
Well, Kathy, you're up. So. So again, you won the 2021 Small Business Champion Award, which is awesome.
Woo-hoo.
I know, right? Great. That's awesome. And I mentioned those who were the finalists as well. So for those people who don't, so many of us know who you are, Kathy, for sure, because you're involved in so much. But why don't you go ahead and tell us a little history about your organization and what you really do. I know you, like I said, you're involved in so many things. Why don't you tell us about Kathy Pierson Communications a bit?
Well, first, Belinda, congratulations, and I'm honored to be on that platform with you. You are just an amazing lady, and God bless, and I'm praying for your staff, because I know what you've been. I don't know exactly what you've been through, but I know it's been a tough, 18, 19 months, and so keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the Boston accent. I heard it today more than I did on Friday, and I love it. So
thank you. Congratulations to you.
I didn't notice it.
Oh yeah, you didn't notice it?
Yeah, he did.
So Keith, again, thanks for having us on here today, and Sue, thank you to you and the chamber and the committee. And I was so humbled, because I just do what I love, and so I've been in the public relations realm for over 33 years, and I was with an agency in Orlando for 25, and I've been on my own for like 12 here, and I love being my own boss. Like I said, I'm public relations, so I basically take clients and tell their story, and share it with the media and the community through, the different various media outlets, from TV to radio to newsprint, social media, and just community wide. And I love doing that. I love serving in our community and helping our nonprofits. It's one of my most favorite things to do, and near and dear to my heart. I even find the nonprofit clients and just the pro bono work that I do so rewarding, because I know I'm getting their story out there, and I'm telling their story, and that means a lot to me, because we have some amazing groups in this community. I love Osceola County. I grew up in Seminole County, so I grew up in Castleberry. Been here since '69. I'm an Army brat. My dad decided to retire here. He lived on the Navy base in Orlando, which is now, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, Baldwin Park. And so, I've lived here for a while. I've lived in Osceola County since 1989, married my husband, Dave, who was a captain with the St. Cloud Police Department, is somewhat semi-retired. And I have 2 kids. Michelle, she's in northern China and teaches English. And then I have my son, Michael, who's getting ready to move back up to Jacksonville area. So, like I said, I love what I do. I just continue to do that and will as long as I can.
So, Sue, did you say Kathy went through the leadership class in 2009?
No, Belinda was 2009. Kathy was 1996. So she's one of it. But you know what? What's interesting is, first of all, when I hear both Belinda and Kathy speak about, serving the community, and I think that's why the committees chose them. And again, it's not to slight, the other nominees, because we're so fortunate to have such a giving community of leaders, but the willingness to, and the recognition of almost like the necessity to be engaged and involved in community, and kind of, it's like we always say, build it and they will come, but sometimes we have to come to them. And so recognizing that, and how well connected, and some of those relationships are established in leadership. Some of them continue on. I mean, Belinda sits on a health leadership committee that meets monthly, that is strategizing how we can deliver healthcare effectively and efficiently, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, for years to come. Kathy, talks about her involvement in other nonprofits. I know in the pandemic, another hat that I wear occasionally is this Osceola Ready group, and we were trying to help our local food pantries meet, food insecurity, and Kathy donated. And I know Positively Osceola was involved in that, in helping make sure that we, got the word and got donations out so we could support our food pantries as they supported our residents in need. And and that's what Leadership Osceola kind of encompasses, all of that. It's that breaking the barriers and making those relationships so we can just better meet the needs of our residents. I think it's our calling in all of the work that we do. And so that's what I love about leadership, and these people sitting with me, is that our community, it's all over the place. I mean, you sat in that room on Friday, and there were hundreds of graduates of Leadership Osceola, and there will continue to be. And the folks that weren't part of the program, they say, how do I want to be part of that, because I want to engage and be connected in the next decision making for next year and years to come. And so that's why I love just building those relationships through leadership.
Well, Sue, leadership was the best thing I could have done when I entered into this community. I moved here in '89, but I didn't go through the class till '96 because I knew about it, but I didn't know about it. And that opened the door for me. I had 30 plus networking relationships with my classmates that took me so far and opened doors in this community that now a lot of people come to me and hire me to open doors in Osceola County because of the connections that Osceola leadership started. And that was back in, it was, a little earlier than that, but '96 really opened that door. And, like you said, it's everybody that's lived here all their life to newbies to our community. And, a lot of the people that have lived here didn't even know half of the things that are out there in our community, the needs, the services, the various community companies. And, so Leadership Osceola is probably one of the most important tools that anybody could use to enter into Osceola County, because it's just amazing. And I always sell it to my clients that want to come into Osceola, always.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree. I was just going to say, so I came into the county in 2008, and then I went into Leadership Osceola in 2009. And I had a lot of work to do here in the county, and I didn't know anyone, and making connections, and that really opened doors. And then, being embraced by, Donna, and Sue, when I came into the county, told me about the program. And it really did open a lot of doors. It helped me because the work that I do in the community, that my team does in the community, we do it working with others as well. So we need those partnerships, and we need people to understand our mission and our vision, and to help us to get to that. And it's because of all the people in the community that help us get the work that we do done. And so I really appreciate it, making those connections. And it's just like, it's like a domino. You make that connection and someone connects you to someone else. And I found that the people here in this county are just very willing to help and really all have a vision of making this county a better county. And so I really have appreciated that.
Yeah, I think we have a very powerful collaboration amongst our social services and our governments that it's stronger than I think any community in Central Florida.
And you can see it in a leadership day. I think of like Health and Emergency Management Day. I pretend to know a lot of things, but I'm certainly not the industry expert. And so I turn to individuals and entities like Belinda and Osceola Community Health Services and our healthcare, our hospital partners and our emergency management. Where in one day can you reach out and be connected to maybe a dozen different entities that are directly involved in that particular industry or topic. So you're hearing from the industry experts as opposed to sitting in a classroom with me with a PowerPoint. Nobody wants that. You can see it and touch it and feel it firsthand. You're too kind, Keith, believe me. You get to see it and experience it firsthand, and it makes it so much more enriched and real. And that transcends, leadership transcends the 30-some years that when it started at the chamber, flourished under community vision, came back to the chamber, and we just have plans to make it bigger and better, but to still not lose that connection that, you won't see us with classes of 90 individuals because we want to make sure that relationships form, because really that's what is key is is who you're sitting next to on the bus. I hope we get back to buses next year, but I mean, we will get back to buses next year.
It's a very intimate format and they become your family.
And we want to keep it that way. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine, Charlie Draper, this morning. We did a live show this morning with Charlie, and I always loved Charlie. I've known him a bunch of years. I met Charlie at the St. Cloud Chamber of Commerce. We're members of all three of the local chambers, and we just talking about it for a few minutes this morning. It brought back a ton of memories, and those memories are connected to individuals who are connected to organizations and businesses. And it never ends. It's not like you say, well, this 6 months, I'm going to go out and get connected to the community. It's an always updating scenario with new people, which I think generates just a huge amount of synergy. I would not know how to run a business locally without having invested in other people's businesses, and learning theirs.
Absolutely, Keith. I agree with that. I ditto that for sure, because I couldn't have started my business here, without the chamber. The chamber helped me. They gave me that foundation, get your license, do this, do that, and I wanted to make sure I did it all right. And I have no regrets, and I should have done it a long time ago. I love being my own boss. Entrepreneurship is a beautiful thing.
It is.
And it's a beautiful thing. Keith.
I'm learning.
Yeah, you have your good days and your bad days, but most of them are good. And, you have people that are out there supporting you and sending you business. And, the chamber's always sending me business. I mean, it's always amazing. Miss Robin Hughes, she's always sending me stuff or, sharing stuff with me. So I'm always grateful. And Kelly at Reach, she's always phenomenal.
Sure. So Sue, why don't you tell us, somebody may have popped in this today or is going to hear this later. So how does somebody and when can they, now that this class 2021 is finished, tell us how somebody can get plugged into that.
Sure. So, we close the chapter on 2021 and we start thinking about the 2022 program. And so our planning committee that's comprised, as I said, of these industry experts, we'll meet next month and set the calendar for 2022. The program roughly runs early February through June. And then at first I kind of panicked about having a 2-month break because the class actually ended mid-June, and we didn't graduate until last Friday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to folks for 8 weeks? Well, they all come back and then some. And so, and actually it gave me a chance to kind of catch my breath and not be quite as frenetic in kind of closing that. But we'll start recruiting in October. It's an online application. It is open to anybody who is either lives in Osceola, does business in Osceola, wants to be vested in Osceola, and really wants to be engaged, because we want to, it's like we're giving people the tools to be good citizens, and but we want them to be citizens, in our community. And so we'll start that application process. Then we have a vetted panel of leadership alum. They make the decisions as to who's in the class. And whether you are early in your career or whether you've been a seasoned professional for 30 some years, you're going to go through the same application process. And we want to make sure that folks are going through for the right reasons and that they're fully vested, because it is a big time commitment. Once the program kicks off with a mandatory 2-day retreat, and there's no excuses, you can't miss it. That's in early February. And then it's every other Wednesday. You have to commit yourselves to, stay off the phone, walk away from that email, and be willing to engage in that class experience every other Wednesday, where we explore, as I said, economic development, government services, criminal justice, health and emergency services. Just really get immersed in the community, immerse yourselves. What we're looking to add is some more curriculum enrichment, whereas maybe you learn some skills about conflict resolution or how to create consensus or whatever that may be. And then the program will culminate with this graduation experience. But what we're also hoping to do is then, what we've done in the past is said, okay, go do leader stuff and be good leaders. Well, now, and fortunately many people do, but some folks need a little extra connection. Like, where can I serve? I'm interested in the welfare of children. How can I get connected? What agencies or entities? And so we want to connect individuals to those areas that they want to be involved in. And so we can just keep that continuum going for years to come. So I'd say, but it'll kick off in October. We'll start recruiting for 2022.
And I love too how the class, each leadership class adopts a project or a charity in the community,
Right.
and they all come together to get that first feel of giving back. And that was one of my most favorite things to do. Was doing that.
And we've had some small, it may be a cleanup project or the original Save Osceola initiative, where it was about dedicated conservation land in Osceola County, started as the Leadership Osceola class of 2002. The first senior housing project in Osceola County was a leadership project.
Right.
So it can be big, but it can be just as impactful to go down to Lakefront Park and clean up trash for the day too. So each class makes their own mark, and it continues on, and then it's not a one-off. And anybody who's interested in leadership, that understand that this isn't like a 6-week fun field trips and then you're off the hook. We expect you now that you're in the know, you have the obligation to continue that messaging forward and to give back and to stay engaged and be mindful when you're making those decisions. And so it's a commitment, but it's well worth it. And our community is so much more enriched because of it.
The best investment you'll make.
Damn, commercials going on right here.
I know.
It's one of the best investments that you can make as a company or as an individual. It really is, as Sue said, and Belinda and I are results of that. And so is how many graduates, Sue? Do you know?
Oh gosh, well,
it's probably over 2,000.
Over 2,000.
Yeah.
And we've done a variety of programs. We had a teen leadership program in the past. We had a leadership legends program in the past. And there's talk of, maybe we'll get back to that again someday. Who knows? But if to me, the one, I want to say, silver lining that came out of this pandemic is we recognize if there is ever a time that we need good leaders, time is now. And we're so fortunate to have folks in place that are graduates of the leadership program that are in those decision making to help navigate us through some really uncharted waters.
Yep.
And to prepare for that. I mean, I hope we never see that again in any of our lifetimes, but just to be able to pivot and respond as our community needed, that's what we want to do, is just empower leadership in our community.
I think that's a key word during this pandemic is learning how to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, so, you know, again, and this isn't anything that hasn't been said 5 million times in the last year and a half, but, you know, all that preparation over those years, hard to be able to see, looking forward, and now that we're here, how important that really was to have, or is to have, leadership in place. You just can't come through things like this without leadership that are plugged in, that are knowledgeable, experienced, and open. I don't know how you get through any bumps in the road without leadership being equipped. Well done. I want to make sure I at least share this one photo, because it wasn't me that it was. So I believe it was from the Chamber's Facebook.
Oh, I think I know which photo it is.
I'll give the creds to those creds deserves. But it's a great shot.
It is.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
We really had to borrow that one.
We look at each other, and I just couldn't stop but laughing. But
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
All right. Well,
I had to share that with you, Belinda. Absolutely.
Thank you. Same here. Congratulations.
You too. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Continue that great leadership.
Thank you.
So one last time, where in October will people who are interested go to look?
It'll be on the Chamber website, kissimichamber.com, and I say early October-ish. So don't log on October 1st. I can't guarantee it'll be October 1st. It might be October 2nd. It might be October 10th, but early October, it'll be, there will be a banner that'll clearly mark where you can apply. It's an online application process. We'll accept those applications through the end of the year, and then early January is when we convene our interview panel to do that, and that's a really important piece of it. And so, and it may be brief, but it's really, I mean, that's where we really get to know the candidate and make sure that, you know, they're going through, they understand the requirements and expectations of what that program is, and then it kicks off early February, and we're off and running.
Awesome. I think that you made a great point. It's to share those expectations so that you can come through with excellence and really gain something from it.
That's right.
Well done. All right. Well, I really do appreciate all three of you guys. I am certainly a blessed guy to be able to call all three of your friends. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to you, Keith.
And I know this was a short notice, and you are all very busy people. So thanks for being very cool and putting up with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And again,
it.
congratulations to Kathy and Belinda. I mean,
Thank you so much.
just such a I'm so honored to have you in my sphere, in my circle of friendship, and we couldn't have better representatives for those awards for our community.
Love you.
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you for all your hard work. And Keith, thank you so much. And tell Lisa hello.
I sure will. As soon as I see her.
Have a great day, guys. Stay safe.
You too.
Thanks, everybody.
Right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola here with Sue Ring, Leadership Osceola's Program Director, Kathy Pierson, President of Kathy Pierson Communications, and Belinda Johnson Cornett, CEO of Osceola Community Health Services. Together, making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Thanks.